That was the sound that my original vehicle of Lesthehandyman made when I showed up at customers' houses. Yes, it was a cow. And how did I figure it out? Well, I studied the sounds that people like. And how did all of this start? Well, when I became Lesthehandyman. Now 25 years later, and still loving it as much today as I did back then, I started by making a bet with some people while I was working at TD Bank. And what was the bet? That I could start any kind of a company and make it successful. Anything. They chose the lowest thing that they could possibly figure out. Guess what that was? You got it. A handyman. And when I heard that they wanted me to become a handyman, I thought to myself, oh no, I don't want to do that. But they assumed that I was like them. I couldn't put a screw into the wall. But they didn't know that I helped my father renovate all his houses, took care of his rental properties and so on and so forth as a part-time job. So I knew an awful lot about construction. So I started Lesthehandyman, made a $5,000 bet, won the bet, and quit my job at the bank. I had a pretty good job at the bank, but I loved doing this more. Then I created a virtual house. Later, after creating my own software that eventually Cisco picked up, and my life has been one hell of a ride. Today, I'm going to show you what the new virtual house does as opposed to the old one. The old virtual house was very interesting because it showed my truck at that time driving in, which you can see down here, and every time I pulled up to a job, that's what you would hear. And of course you could do some interesting things from here, as well as go into the virtual house and look around at all kinds of interesting things, as well as going upstairs and then checking out different parts. And I even had virtual people as well, where you could buy all different types of services and products here. But it wasn't enough. I needed a better system. And I decided to create something that was much better than this in a very big way. Also, my customers were able to get a hold of me 24/7, as well as the tradespeople that I was referring to. And it was very interesting because they could get Lesthehandyman very quickly, or if you needed a computer tech, you can get a computer tech very quickly, and you could even make an appointment with that computer tech online. Now I'm doing it in Europe as well, and I've created an entirely new system. We'll be eventually all over Europe and in Toronto and the surrounding areas. And if you click on Canada, then you can eventually see it in French, and it will separate out, for instance, if you are a client or a business, because I cater to both people, because I'll be selling booking systems to everybody, as well as my virtual house. If you're a customer, of course, you would go in here and you would, if you were interested in the virtual house, you would of course click on the virtual house, which would show you a demo of how the virtual house works, and then it would show you the map of the Toronto area where I will be doing some business. And then if you click on that, it will take you to the actual virtual house. And that virtual house will allow you to get more services of all different types. Just as you click on things, you can actually see more things. Of course, it's not animated, but we had to figure something out because they were phasing Flash out on the internet. And so here you can see actual rooms inside the house, which looked a lot better than the original one, because Europeans are far more picky as far as the quality of the graphics that you use.